Okay, so I welcome you again, and we were continuing with the object reference concepts, where as I explained you recently that we have created an object. Aswini, please be on mute and let me know if you have any question. You can unmute everybody. So we have created object reference concept, and we have assigned null to this. Okay. So I on the last session I also explained you that from the memory's perspective how it's working, and let's understand it in more detail, like how the memory management. We'll have a separate session for that, but like how it's working internally. So basically the memory, okay, uh, this this is important to understand. This is important from the interview perspective as well as like just for the understanding purpose. So like this is the memory of C sharp has been divided internally. It's divided into two parts. One is, as like you may hear this in terms of Java as well. One is heap and one is stack. So let us say it's an heap memory. Okay, I'll explain you later as well, but like just for the understanding of. So there are two kinds of memories. One is heap and one is stack. So always remember, guys. So the variables like int a, int b that we are creating the values. Okay, they most of the time, just like in this particular example, we have created like integer string name and int is most of the time like these values will be stored inside that stack memory. Okay, but like the objects that we were creating, just like over here we have created this one object called obj. So this new object reference, this is the object, this is object reference. Okay, so this object would be take space inside the heap memory. Always remember this. Okay, so we have created one object. Let us say this is our object, new reference object. Okay, yeah. So this is how this is working. But the reference, for what is the reference of this? This is called obj. Obj would always be inside the stack. The real object would be inside the heap memory, but the object reference, so that we can call this, would always be there at, like, yeah, this is the structure. This is how it's working. So tomorrow, like, we may create one more object, just like we have created new object reference dot name. So I also explain you that this is not a good practice to directly call uh, uh, the properties by the method name, because unnecessary we would need to create three methods. One method like with new keyword, as soon as we'll write new keyword, a method would get created inside the memory. So unnecessary, like three objects are created inside the memory, and we are just directly calling the name with that like object. Okay, so always try to create object like this. Object, just give object reference, and by that object reference call all these values. So here you just have created one method, one, sorry, object, and here you are creating three unnecessary objects. Okay, so just like you have created one object, two object, three object, so all will be get created inside the heap only. As I told you that all the objects will always get created inside heap only. Okay, we may have many methods inside the heap, but like, do we have any reference for this? Do we have any reference just like obj? No, we don't have any reference for this. Okay, so these are called like unreferenced objects. That's why we are getting null reference exception. These are unreferenced. We are not getting referenced anywhere. Okay, so now, so like there are lots of values that would be stored inside heap. All the objects that we are creating will directly come inside that. So like, in this way, what is the problem over here is that like tomorrow we have used one method. Okay, sorry, one object, and now that object is not being used. Okay, for an example, we already have used these methods. So like they will occupy, for an example, there is a particular memory. For, let us say, we have 1 GB for this particular stack, and let us say 250 MB for heap. Okay, so for an example, let us say every method is taking 1 MB memory. Okay, just like we created one method that is taking 1 MB. This is just to understand, guys. Okay, so just like this first method is taking 1 MB, and we have created three more like objects. So these are taking 3 MBs, all these three. Okay, so just like 4 MB memory we already have occupied. Okay, we already occupied this. So now, as soon as we'll use this, so like for an example, we are not using all these. Just like we are getting the null reference exception over here, because initially we created this object, but now we have assigned none value to this object. So let us say initially this object was referring to this obj. This is our object reference. Okay, so initially this was referring to this particular object, right? This particular object. But now we have break the connection over here, and we have directly assigned over here. What the value that we have directly assigned over here? We directly saying that obj is equal to null. Okay, you got it. We are just directly saying obj is equal to null. That means the connection of this has been break. Okay, the connection of this has been break, like this and this object. Now this particular object is like no use. We can there is no use of this particular object, right? I'm talking about this particular object. There is no use because obj directly references to the null. So what will happen? Although this is occupying 1 MB, but like we are not using this. Even though we'll try to use this, we'll always get null reference exception, because now the connection of this obj object type has been removed, and we have assigned null value to this. So this is occupying unnecessary space inside the heap memory. So to overcome this, like to clean this memory, there is a concept inside C sharp that is called like garbage collector. So that will the garbage collector will always deal with this kind of a guy. Let us say we have uh, one garbage collector is sitting over here. This is in guy. Let us say this is in program. This is sitting over here. This is like looking every activity what they are doing. As soon as this collector will get to know that hey, this particular this particular method is no don't have any use, simply like there is no use of this. So this will go inside the this will go inside the memory, and what this will do, this will destroy. Okay, this will destroy this particular object. This is how the garbage collector will work. So the garbage collector will invoke automatically as soon as this will verify that, for an example, this particular object is like no use. As soon as I call object dot name, then every time I'm going to get null reference exception, because this obj has been assigned with null values. So there is no use of this. Then the garbage collector will remove this from the memory. This will clean. Okay. Okay, so always remember this. Most every time this garbage collector will invoke automatically. Okay, this is an inbuilt algorithm that has been written by the .NET developers. Okay, and also like you may call it custom as well. Sometime, although that is not recommended, but sometimes you may force garbage collector as well. Please come inside and collect, like clean my this particular method. So how to call the garbage collector? So there is an inbuilt mechanism, although that is not recommended, but like it may ask at the time of interview for system.gc. Okay, GC stands for garbage collector and dot collect. Okay, so this method is used to invoke garbage collector. Was okay, this is invoke garbage collector manually, we can say, but like forces garbage collector to run. This is not recommended, but can be used if the situation arises. Okay, and always remember that the scope of this collector only within the heap. Okay, scope only within the heap. Like this will not work for the stack memory, because we don't have any unreferenced thing over here. Always remember that the scope is only till heap. Okay, so I hope this is not recommended to use most of the time, but like for the understanding purpose, you should be aware like system.gc.collect. this will be used to invoke the garbage collector. Okay. Okay, so we'll also understand this concept like the heap and stack at the time in details, like while creating upon the finally keyword and like stack overflow in the upcoming sessions. I'll explain you. At that time, we'll also explain you that. So I hope you got the this like null. I hope you have got the concept of null reference exception and garbage collector. The thing that we have reference to the null will be removed. Okay, will be deleted by garbage collector inside the memory, inside the heap memory. Okay. Also, like one I gave you one good example. Users, I guess. Yeah. So you see, like we were having multiple users, user one, user two. Okay, user three. Then, for an example, what we did, we were doing user one is equal to user two. Now the reference of user two has been assigned to user one. So that means there is no use of user all these values now. Okay. Even if, as I explained you that if we have assigned user two to user one, that means this particular like object will uh, will not be of any kind of use. We cannot use all these properties. Okay, this particular properties like name Aswini 34 and Pune. Why? Because the latest value of u1 is now all these values, because we have assigned u2 to u1. So all these values will be of no use. That's why all these properties like this object will be removed by garbage collector internally. Okay. So like let me explain you that to understand more clearly. Let us say initially what you were doing, you were having multiple objects, like you were having u1, okay, and you were having u2, you were having u3. Okay, now what you did, so everyone was referring some objects. Just say this was referring to one object, this was referring to one object. Let us say we have object like this one was the u1 object, u2 object, u3 object, just like these values. Okay, just like these value, this is u1 object. Okay, all these objects are there. Now what we did, we simply assigned u2. What we did, u2 is equal, u1 is equal to u2, let us say. Okay, that means now initially like this u1 was referring to this, right? u1 was referring to u1 object, but now this connection has been broken, and now u1 is referring to u2, right? Why? Because we have assigned u2 to u1. So now u1 is referring to u2, and like this particular object is no use. Okay, so eligible, now this particular object is eligible for the garbage collector. So the garbage collector will automatically invoked, will come over here, will handle this. Okay, we will not call the garbage collector over here, that will come automatically. Okay, so like this algorithm of garbage collector is very like tough. Like there might be hundreds of methods inside here. Very complex algorithm, I'll say, not tough. Very complex algorithm. There might be lots of methods over here, like thousands of methods. So we'll come inside and we'll check if so, which is empty, like which is not referring to any kind of object, and we'll select that, we'll remove that. So it's kind of complex algorithm inside the memory. Okay, so I hope you have got the concept of classes, objects, and all these methods, method overloading, and object references concept. Okay, is there any question on this? Swini and Jassi, do you have any question on this? Please, you can
No, no,
unmute yourself.
no, no.
Okay. Okay, thanks for confirmation. So, okay. Now, we'll try to also always remember, right, guys, like just like mm JVM, we have JVM, you may have heard or not. I'm just telling you from the understanding perspective. From in the Java, we have a virtual machine called Java Virtual Machine, JVM. Okay, what is the use of JVM? That basically converts the bytecode into machine code. Similarly, the same concept over here is in .NET Framework as well, but we are not using any kind of JVM or we will use CLR over here. CLR, basically CLR refers to common language runtime. I'll explain you. Okay, don't worry about that. So just for that understanding purpose, in the .NET Framework, to like use it on runtime, we are using CLR, common language runtime. Okay. So our next topic is let's discuss about the static keyword. In the next topic, we will understand what is the need of static keyword, what is the use of static keyword. Okay, and we'll also understand that what is static variables. Ashwini, please be on mute. What is the static variable? What are the static methods? How does it works? When to use static? When not to use static? Or when to avoid static? And some important use cases of static as well, because like it's not like everywhere we can use. There might be some particular use cases where we need to use the static keyword. Okay, I think many times you have been encountered with this static keyword. Now we'll resolve that. Like we can say gesture. How we can like what is the does that static keyword means? Okay. To understand this, let's create one more class. Let's create a class called animal. Let's take a simple class. Let's call car. Okay. We have created a class over here. You already know that how to create a class. Okay. So to execute this class, what would be we needed? We would be needed the main method. Main method would be written like this: public is in keyword, just like, so that we can access it from anywhere. We'll explain it. Public static keyword. Static main method is always static. Public static void means I already have explained. Void means this is we don't have any written
Uh,
line. That's why we are using this. Yeah.
थोड़ी
Yeah.
हेलो थोड़ी प्रॉब्लम आ
हाँ
रही
जी.
है यार इसमें
Yes.
मतलब जो आप बता रहे हो ना वो मतलब कि 30-40 सेकंड बाद में दिखाई दे रहा है
अच्छा, तो एक बार रीज्वाइन कर लो. रीज्वाइन.
प्लीज ज्वाइन कर
हाँ हाँ, रीज्वाइन करने से ठीक हो जाएगा. ओके सनी. So what I did over here, okay, till that just is rejoining. Let me create this class for you. Public static void man. Okay. Now, for an example, I have some properties. Let us say string properties of car. Let us say car name, and let us say integer price of the car. Let us say string color, and let us say integer wheels. Okay, we have some properties. So these are the four properties of this class. Car class. Car can have name, car can have price, car can have color. Okay, cool. Okay, let me let's rejoin the other candidate. Let's wait for a second. So Jesse, can you hear me? अब सही दिख रहा है आपको?
Actually,
Hmm?
Aniket, the problem is in your side. I think from price, nothing is getting displayed on the screen.
From price, I already have written like string, color, integer wheels. Are you not able
No,
to see this?
no. I am not able to. Now I am able to see it. It is
So
a
there
time
might
back.
be some network glitches at your end, because like I'm using very stable connections. Let me reshare the screen. Yeah, it's okay. If you face any kind of issues, then you may stop in between and we can resolve it together. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thanks, guys. So what I did, I just created a simple class called my name of my class is car. Okay, and I'm creating main method so that my CLR will come inside this. Okay, compiler I can say will start execution from the main method. Now I have defined four properties of my class. Okay, this is our I already have told you that what are the are these like class members or method members. I already have explained you the concept of that these are class variable, these are global variable, and the if I'm assigning something over here just like integer I is equal to 10, I is equal to like 0, so this is my local variable, and all these are my class variable, I can say class properties, and this is my method property. So the access of this would be, the scope of this would be inside this method only, and the scope of this would be like entirely inside the class. Okay, I already have explained this small concept to you. So now we have class a car, we have name of the car, we have price, color, and wheels. Okay, now for an example, if I need to access, like give value to all these property, I need to access these class properties. Basically these are car class properties. So what is the process for that? I already have explained you many times. I need to create the object of the class. How to create the object of the class? Let's see, car is equal to new car, so new car is the object over here, this car is the object reference, and this car is that my class name. Got it? By using this car dot, I'll get all these properties and will assign the value accordingly. Okay, okay, let us say car dot name. Okay, let us say I have car, my car is, the name is would be, let us say Ford. Okay, and my second property was, class variable was car price. Let us say its price is, it's a string kind, integer kind of value, so let us say 20 lakh. Okay, maybe the value is in lakh. Okay, now we have car dot color. Let us say we have, it's a string kind of value, so let us say I have a white car, white Ford car. Now we have one more property called car dot wheels. So how many wheels a car have? Obviously 4 wheels. Okay, so I have created one more method over here. This is my car one, let us say. So I also need to change all these car one, car one. Got it? Okay. Now let me create one more method. Let us say car. As I told you that we can create multiple methods, multiple objects of an class, right? Class is a blueprint, and we can create multiple objects of that class. So this is my first object, and I'm creating one more object. Always remember, this should always be reference the object type. This is car one. If you'll again assign this car one, then this will not allowed, because we already have used local variable. Okay, so let us say car. Okay, now the another car that I have some different properties. Let me copy all these properties from here. Let us say car 2. Okay, this is my car 2. Now let us say I am BMW, and the price is of this is, let us say, 65 lakh, and the color is blue. Okay, and this property would be same because the wheels is 4 for this as well. Okay, let us say I have one more car, my third object, car 3. This time let us say I have Honda or Hyundai, whatever. The price is, let us say, 15 lakh. The color is blue or maybe black, and the wheel is 4. Got it? We have seen this kind of examples many times. Okay. Now the problem, what is the problem with this code, or like is this code fine or have any problem? What you see? Is this code fine? We are creating multiple objects. This seems fine, but this code have one problem. Okay. You see, like we have one common value for all the cars. We have 4 wheels for Ford, we have 4 wheels for BMW, and we have 4 wheels. Means for every car, the value 4 is common. The quantity of wheels would be same. The color might be different, the price might be different, the brand name might be different, the music system might be different, the features might be different. Okay, the mechanism key might be different. Some have flip key, some have like button key. Starting process might be different, but the like but the all wheels will always be the same. Okay, every car have 4 wheels. Got it? That means I mean to say that this particular property is same for all the cars. Okay, so when the value that is common for all the objects, just like for the value, not the property, when the value that is common for all the objects, that property should be defined as the static in C sharp. Okay, how to define this property as a static? So simply use this keyword. Just like we have defined wheels, just use static int wheels. This is a static keyword. Got it? And the value of is just defined over here. We can give the value later on as well. But just like this 4 is common for all the objects that we are going to create. These might be like variable at the time of implementation. These value might got changed, but the quantity of wheels will always be the same. That's why we have used like static keyword over here. Got it? So now you got an idea like how to assign the value. So now this is showing an error and saying car is not a null over here. Okay, so we need to remove the value over here, and I'll explain you how to call the static variable. Now these wheels would be known as static variable. Okay, these are non-static variables. These are non-static because there is no static keyword with this, and these would be known as static keywords. Okay, so from the memory perspective, how this will work, let me explain you. Okay, let me open one more. uh, I'll remove this. Okay, if you want this, then it's okay. Let me create one more. Okay, let us say as I told you that we were having two kind of memory in C sharp. One is heap and one other one is stack. Let us say this is my heap and here is STACK. Two kind of memories. As I told you that always the object would be code created inside heap. Always the object in my previous example. Okay. So now how many objects of car class we are creating? We are creating three cars. One is Ford, one is BMW, and one is Honda. We have created three objects. Okay. And every object will have some properties. Okay. This the properties like name, we have price of the car, we have color of the car. Okay, the same property, the value would be different, but the property name would be same for this class. Okay, for this object, not class. Okay, so you can see that this is let us say this is my object of, let us say this is C1, but the reference would be in stack. In the previous example I have explained you car C2, and this is object reference. Okay, so the object reference will always be inside stack. So this particular C1 going to refer this object can be accessed using C2. Okay, this can be accessed using C2, and let us say this can be accessed using C1. This is C2, and if we need to access this, uh, let me select it again. Oh, sorry. Let us say if we need to access C3, then how to do that? Just like C3 dot, all these properties of the class would get created. So I mean to say that we have all the object would be get created inside the heap memory, and if we need to call them, we can use by using the object reference, and the object reference would be reside inside the stack memory. Okay, let us see now. We have created one more properties. It's an class properties. Okay, and we have used, let us say, static int wheels is equal to 4. So basically this is common for all. So where this value go inside, like these name prices, these are like over here. So where the value of 4 will become in, like in heap memory or in stack memory. So basically the heap is extended further, just like this is also kind of heap, or we can say this is entirely basically heap memory. And let me select, the entire is heap only, but there is one more concept that is called high frequency heap. This is a part of heap only. You can also call it like heap memory itself, but like this is in some high frequency heap. So what will happen? This value int 4, this value would be assigned, this particular 4 value would be assigned inside this high frequency heap. Got it? So what is the use of it? Like why we have assigned over here? Okay, so we have used like we have assigned this value over here in the high frequency heap. So like I'll explain you how to call this, and then you'll get to understand that how to like what is the use of this high frequency heap memory, and how we can call the static values. Okay, okay, so always remember, because you know that this always remember, are these wheels are part of the object? No, this is not the part of object now. Okay, the part of object are name, price and color only. These wheels are not part of the object. Okay, you can see from this example, you can call only car dot color price. The color also, here we have called color. So let us say name. First one is name of the car. This should be name. Okay, name is BMW, name is. Okay. So I want to explain you that we have an object. Okay, we are calling name, price and color. Can we call wheels, car1 dot wheels directly? Car1 dot wheels. So there is no such intelligence showing over here. That means this wheel, as soon as we use static keyword, then this is not the part of object now. Okay, this is not available. This wheels is not available with the object. Okay, that means this will be stored somewhere else apart from this object. So that the same thing I want to explain over here. This int would be, will not be, will never be stored inside an object. Okay, object will never hold static values and methods. We have object. If any of our properties, like one of these properties is static, that means that will be not stored inside that object. Okay, as I told you that we have an object. Every time we are creating the object by new keyword, just like I created new car, this is my object. So only 3 values will be stored inside object. The first one is name, price, color. The wheels will not be part of this object. Why? Because these have a static keyword. Okay, now, so always remember, so the static value would be stored, the static value would be stored inside that high frequency heap. So where would be the main method will get stored? Man method will also get stored inside the high frequency heap, because let me write a man method over here. Public static void man. Okay, we already have. So this man method have static value. This is a static type of method. So this will also come inside that high frequency heap. Okay, not the part of like simple heap and stack. Always remember this. So now my question is that I can call the car name, car price, car color, and by using the other object I can call the same values again. But my question to you is that how to call the static values? I want to call the static values. How to call that? How to call non-static values? Just simply create the object of the class, and by using object reference, you can call and access the non-static values. But how to access the static values? How to do that? Okay, so there are multiple ways to do that. I'll explain you that. Okay, okay. Now let me write one. So how to print all these values? Let's, as I explained you many times, let us say we have c1 dot name. We can simply like can concatenate these, and similarly we can call c2, let us say car1 itself, car1 dot price. Okay, and let us say we can have c1 dot, let us say color. Okay, color. Yeah, this is how we can print all these values. But let us say I need to, this is how I'm calling this name, I'm calling this price, I'm calling this color. So can I call similarly, like can I call that non static variable as well, as like car1 dot wheels? Can I call wheels as well? No, we cannot access, because that is not a part of object that I just explained you. Okay, we cannot access that like that. So can I access that directly? Let's say if I want to print wheels, can I access it directly? Yes, that is allowed. Means I can directly call these wheels inside the main method. No need to create the object of this car class. You got it? If I need to access this main method, then I need to create the object of my car class. But if I need to access the static value, then there is no need to create the object of car class. You can see I have directly accessed the wheels over it. Can I write like, can I access directly the name or the price of the car, or maybe the color of the car? Can I directly access this? No, I cannot access the color. If I need to access the color, then I need to create the object of the class. But because this is non-static property and wheels is my static property, so I can call it by using directly. Okay, this is the one process. Let me say my question is how to access the static properties. The first method is directly. Okay, you can you can call it direct inside the main method wherever you want to use this. Okay, within the same class, access directly. Within the same class, you can access directly. Okay, although this is not recommended. Okay, never do like this. Okay, not recommended. You can do it. Yeah, it's available. Okay, not recommended. Why? Because like you may have like hundreds of properties over here. So like it would be like I'll explain the multi-class concept sometime. So there might be for an example wheels is available over here as well. In the inheritance I'll make you understand one more topic called inheritance, in which I'll explain that it may inherit some other class as well. In that particular class we may have one more property called static wheels. In the maybe vehicle class, in the vehicle class as well there might be some wheels property available, static property available, and that have the same kind of values. So that time the compiler would be confused like which wheel from the car class or vehicle class. So that's why always we can do that, we can directly call it, but like it's not recommended. Okay, the second process to call is to call the static properties is call by using the class name. You can call by using the class name. Okay, if you will use the class name directly, then you can call these. So let us say class, what is my class name? Class name is car. So if you use car, as soon as you will write dot, then you can see all the static property will get loaded, and you can directly access this by using, okay, by using the, just a second, we need to store it. By using wheels, you can directly store it, only assignment and increment. So let's print this value, not to assign anything. Okay, so you see how you can call this. You can call it directly, you can call it by using class name. This is the recommended, this is the recommended method. Always call the static properties by using class name. Non-static properties are getting called by object reference, and static properties directly being called by class name. Got it? And third way, that is also being called by reference as well. The same way that you are using, just like you are using uh, the car name, prices, color. In this way, you can access these static properties as well. Just like, what is my object reference for car? Let us say car1 dot wheels. I can access in this way as well. But what is the error over? You can see car1 doesn't exist in the current context. Okay. Yeah. So C1, not car1. We have car1. Okay. Okay. Car1 is equal to. Okay. So this is not being allowed in C sharp. Car1 dot wheels. It's not. This is saying that this is not. Let me call it. Let's say if I need to call the color. Okay, this is also saying error. Let me call it. What is this? Is small. Car is small, like starting from small letter. Okay. Then if I'll put dot, then I can call the price of the car. Okay. If I need to call wheels, is it allowed? Let me check that. So this is saying members car dot wheels cannot be accessed in the instant reference. Qualified, it may type name instead. Okay. So this is not being allowed in the C sharp. Like if I'm doing, I'm just trying. We have created one object like called car C1, car 1 is equal to new car. Okay, and I'm trying to access these wheels static property with that reference name. So according to my knowledge, it should be allowed. The object should allow also, because at the time of object creation, the static and non-static both methods code get loaded inside the memory. So this should be allowed. Let me check that why it's not allowing. We are printing directly. We are using the class name, and if I use reference name, just like if I want to access or print, let us say color, will it allowed? Yes, this is allowed. Car1 is equal to, but the wheels, this is not being allowed. Okay, cannot be accessed in instant reference. Quality, it's a type of name state. Qualify it with a type name is okay. So this is saying that like call by object reference, you cannot call it by the object reference. Either you should call it directly, okay, or call it by that class name. And most of the time, every time we need to use this particular method. I'll also like do some R&D. Will it allowed by using object reference or not? So always remember, always keep this particular thing in your mind. If you need to call the static properties, then you need not to create the object of this class. Okay, you can call that properties directly or by that particular class reference. But if you need to create the, if you need to access the non-static properties, non-static class variables, at that time you would be needed to create the object of the class and then access like this. Got it? Okay. So any confusion so far? Are you clear with it? How to call the static properties? It's very simple. Like this was in memory management, like how the memory is internally managed, and apart from that, like so why we have stored this particular value, this static value inside high frequency heap, because like this particular values. Now you can say wheel 4 would be common in inside. This would be common for all that objects that we are creating. The wheel 4 would be common. Okay, so what is the greatest advantage use of this? We can call it directly. For an example, if we are need, we want to get in this particular method, we want to get the like quantity of wheels as well. How many wheels the car has? So simply use process. Just simply use the class name dot wheels. Okay. So you see like how important or how beneficial this is. You didn't define this like car 1 is equal to wheels over here, car 2 is equal to 4 over here, car 3 is equal to 4 over here. You just define this value at one place. Okay, at one place, just a single memory integer you just define. If you everywhere, if you assign the value like this, for an example, you have defined integer, just like you have defined let me close it, just a second. Yeah, for an example, if you have defined integer wheel 4 is equal to wheels is equal to 4 over here, integer wheel 4 is equal to 4 over here, integer wheel is equal to 4. So every time there were might be, for an example, we have 100 objects. So the 100 integer value would be assigned over here. You see, every time integer wheel, integer. So there would be loads of memory consumptions. So whether if this particular value, okay, is common for all the objects, then make it static and directly call it by using the car, okay, class name, and you need not to declare it every time. You need not to access it by using the class object. Okay, so from the memory management perspective, this is fine. And always remember the garbage collector concept that I told you, that the garbage collector will never come inside this high frequency. Okay, will never come inside, because like we are defining this value static and we can use it anywhere inside the program, inside the application. We can, whenever we want, we can access the static values. Okay, so some values that are required throughout the program, throughout the application, we need like static keyword with that. Got it? But like this name, price, maybe not required with throughout. That can be changed. These are variables. These values can be changed. But that's wheel is equal to 4. The 4 value will never be changed. Every car has 4 values. That's why we have make it static. And to call this, just use the class name, or we can directly call it. Got it? Any question? Any confusion? Aswini?
No.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. So I hope you have understood how to call the car. And okay, so the static class variable should be common values. Always remember, the static class variable should be common values, not common properties. So like just like name is common for all. Maybe value is different, but like property is same. Price is the property name. So property name might be same, but like we just need to always we need to declare a property in static if the value is common for all. So value is 4. So 4 is common for this object, 4 is common for this object. That's why we have make it like static. Okay. So name, price, color, these are not common. Only wheels are common. Okay, guys. Now, so I already have explained you that how to access static properties. You can directly call it, and always remember, no need to create object. Okay, got it? If you need to access the static properties, then you no need to create the object. Okay, explain you. This is like how to call the static properties. But like method also can be static, just like we have a man method. This is a static method. Similarly, we can create custom man methods, just like this is a static method. So this was not a method. These are properties, these are variables, and we can create methods as well. So method can also be static. let us understand how to call the static methods. Even classes can be static. I'll explain you that later. So first understand the method concept. Let me create or add one more class. So okay, let me add one more class. So let's give the customer. Let's take it employees. So employee class we already have created employee. So we have employee class. Now I'm creating employees. Okay, whatever. Let me define man method public void public static, because man method is always static. It's a very important interview question. Public static void man, m is capital. Okay, now if I need to execute this class, employees class, maybe employee YWS the spell, how to do that? As I have told you that always goes inside the properties and select uh, this is your application tab, always remember, and select the startup tab as employees. Okay, then this man method, sorry, man method of the employees class will get executed. Got it? Okay, close. Other than that, let's close all. Yeah, now let's define some properties. Let us say we have employee name, string name. Okay, and we have some ID. So these are non-static properties. Okay, why these are non-static class variables? Because the name of the employee could be different. The ID of the employee would be unique for everyone. But some properties might be same for all the employees. That property values we need to define as an, let us say, static. So let me define some static properties. Static static. Let us say string. For an example, all the employees belongs to same city, just like Bangalore, or let us say Delhi. All the employees are from Delhi. Okay, we are creating a database where all the employees are from Delhi. Okay, now some more properties values can be similar. Like if you need to, let us say all the employees are working on the same company. Let's make it smaller. Okay. Let us say all the employees are working on, let us say, uh, some good company name, maybe anything. Let's say like IBM. All the employees are of IBM company. Okay, so static means this IBM value would be common for all the employees. Okay. Let's say one more thing. So the company used to payment, receive salary. Okay, let us say salary mode is same, just like they are, or like whatever account transfer, or let us say credit card, whatever. Just an example. Okay, so the mode of their salary is same for everyone. Uh, what they are saying. Okay, this is static. Yeah. Now these are non-static class variables. These are static class variable. Why static? Because these value are same for city, company name, and salary mode. Are every employee will get direct salary into their account. Okay, all the employees are of IBM company. All the employees are belongs to Delhi city. But the name of the employees are different, but the IDs of employees are different. This is how we need to select static and non-static. Now let us say we have some method, public void. Let us say we have one method called get info method. Okay, so this is our simple method, the method that we use to create. Let us say get info. Okay, we have one. For an example, we have one more method. Let us say public void send email method we have. Now we can also create, you can see we need to send an email to all the employees. Okay, so all the employees can send emails. Okay, so this is a feature. Method is always feature. These are like variables are properties and methods are features. Okay, so these employees have one feature, like they can send emails. So send email method should be common for all. Every employee can send email. So that should be, let us say, static method. Just like this is a static property, we have created one static method over here. Okay, let us say print this send email. Every employee have this feature. That's why just focus on this static keyword. This method is non-static method and this is static method. Got it? Okay. Now for an example, you need to call this. Let's create the object. First, let's create the object of employees class. Okay. Employees emp is equal to new employees. Got it? Now, as soon as I created this object, how many properties or methods got loaded or given to this object? Let me scroll it up. Yeah. Let us say I have created object of this employee class called new employees. This is my object. Okay. So how many properties or method will be assigned to this object? Aswini, this is my question to you. Let me check like how much you understood this. How much properties would be assigned?
Name and ID.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Name and ID. Okay. And then what about the get info method?
Okay, that is also assigned. Method
Yeah.
get info will be also assigned.
Yeah. Because this is non-static method, right?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. So always remember, guys. Okay. Thank you. Please be on mute. So always remember, as soon as we create a method, all the non-static properties or methods will assign to that object only, not that static. If by using the object reference, what is my object reference? EMP is my object reference. If I'll call the values, so all these values I'll get by using the object reference. I'll not get the static that I already have shown you. Okay. How to call the static? That directly using the class name. Okay. So what is the exactly what how everything is like managed inside that? So all these values, as I can as I already have explained you that, just like let me change the color. So for an example, this particular thing, these are stored, name and ID, these are stored inside the stack. And where is that get info stored? This is an object. Sorry, this is basically a method. So this is also inside the stack. But where this entire new employee, this is an object, and object is got stored inside that. So object got stored inside the heap, and the non-stack. Sorry, these are the. This is why high intensity, or I would say like heap memory, high frequency heap. So in high frequency heap, all my other things will get loaded or will get stored, just like I have city, okay, company name, or I have salary mode, okay, and I have one more method also, like called send email. So all these values will store inside where? Inside my high frequency heap memory, right? So always remember, guys, this method, like send email method, also got stored over here along with all these properties. So where is my man method will get stored? Always remember main method, because this is also static. Main method is also static in nature, so that will also come inside that high intensity heap. Okay, right. Now, how to call this? How to call the static methods? It's the same way. If I need to, how to call the non-static methods? Just like this is my non-static method. How to call this? Just create an object of the class. Then, because that has been loaded inside the object, let us say get info. So directly I can call that. But can I call like emp.send email? Can I call that? No, I cannot call that. So how to call that? There are similarly to call, just like we created the properties, how to call the static methods. Okay, we have already understood how to call the static properties. Now we are understanding how to call the static methods. Then first way is just like I am directly mentioning the name over here, just like send email. Okay, can I do that? Yes. So you can call it directly. First, just like we are calling properties directly. So the first method is that called directly. Okay. The second way is that call using class name. Call with my name of class. Employees is my class name. Dot. If I'll use send email, then I can call it. It's easy. Okay. So you can do that. Okay. So if I'm trying to use, this is my object reference dot send. So send email. So this is not being allowed in C#. With the object reference, I cannot call the static methods and static properties both. Got it? Now let me run this. So if I'll running this, how I call it? By using the object reference. So first my get info should get printed, then my send email. This send email message should get printed twice. That means we have successfully called these static methods. Let me execute it. You see, get info. This has been called by using the object reference, and this is directly called send email method, and this output is get printed with class name dot send methods. This is similar, very similar to the properties concept. Okay, guys. Now, so I think this is enough for today. Okay, these are the things that these are very commonly used every time whenever like whenever we are working on the real-time Selenium projects, then we must be aware of this, which like class or which property that we need to, which method we need to assign the static keyword, and how to use that throughout the program. And it's not like every are assigning with static, then it's not be like worth it. Okay, so I think that is enough for this class to digest with, and I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, is there any question?
No questions from my side.
Okay. Okay. So you got the concept. You were aware of this concept, or you just learned this concept, static and non-static.
I learned it today only.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's good. It's good. Like if we know already something, then it may be mesh as well. So it's good to know nothing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I always prefer like if I'll put my own mind, then I may get confused. But if I don't know, then the concept I'll get easily. Okay, in my mind. So it's good. So always remember. Now you got like we have man method. What does that mean? Why this is an interview question as well. Why is my man method is always static? What if I need to? I will make it non-static. Then what will happen? So the CLR. Okay. So as soon as my program execution will get start, this will come and will see this is non-static method. So first, now my compiler, or I can say CLR, I need to execute the main method, then that cannot execute it because this is non-static. So that even that is not able to access it. How to access the main method? Then he need to create the object of this class, okay, employees class. Then only he can access it, right? If I access now, for an example, I need to access this man method. Then can I access it directly? Like, can I access it directly? No, because this is non-static now. I cannot access it directly. How to access it directly? Only I can access it directly if this is static. Okay, but now how to access it? I need to create the object of employee class. Okay, then only I can access it. Just like I'm saying emp dot. You see the man is over here. This is how I can access it. So to access this man method, I need to create object of this then. But like for an example, if this is my class name, I'll put dot over here. So let me say employee is my class name. Employee dot. Is the man available over here? Man method? No, I cannot call it directly if my man method is non-static. There is no man. Let us say I have put the static keyword over here. Static keyword over here. So there immediately there would be an error. By using the object reference, you cannot call the man method, and you can see by the class name there is a man method available. So you can call the man method. So this is how the CLR or the compiler is directly navigating to the man method. That's why it's static in nature. Got it? Otherwise, we need to create the object of that class to access this man method. If this would not be static. Okay, so this public means that we can access it from everywhere. We'll talk about it in the further session. Static, you already have understood why this is static. Void, I already have explained you, like this method is don't have any return type. That's why we are using void, and this is the name of the main method. Okay, now you solve the mystery. So thank you guys for this particular session, and do watch it again. Keep doing practices, and these are very small concept, but like this is how the programming language works. Okay, thanks for joining. Have a wonderful Monday. Okay, all the best.
Okay, bye.